HAC's early draft picks. A masterclass in timing and talent acquisition. The Kansas City Chiefs didn't just land one of the most strategically sound draft classes in the entire NFL. They also secured the futures of two cornerstone players, signaling that everything is aligning perfectly once again. Let's break down why Chiefs Kingdom should be fired up, including insider insights from team leadership, the rationale behind today's key decisions, and the future these picks promise. To kick things off, Chiefs Director of Player Personnel and College Scouting, Ryan Nutt, shared his excitement with the media about selecting offensive tackle Josh Simmons. The front office viewed Simmons as one of the elite tackles in the entire draft pool, arguably the best if not for his injury and limited on-field experience. While some teams downgraded him because of these concerns, Kansas City saw beyond them. Simmons is especially revered for his pass protection acumen, which is critical in KC's pass-heavy offense. While his run blocking is solid, his agility, footwork, and technical prowess in the passing game stood out. His development trajectory has been impressive, switching from right tackle to left tackle after 2022 and improving every season. Ironically, his knee injury, though unfortunate, allowed him to slip into KC's hands. It's a bittersweet win, but a win nonetheless. Despite questions surrounding his arm length, Ryan Nutt dismissed concerns, confirming the team measured Simmons' arms at about 34 inches during his top 30 visit, closer to his pro day metrics than the NFL Combine's figures. That reassurance helped seal the pick. Then came the second round selection. Defensive tackle Omar Norm-Lott. Nutt drew comparisons between Norman Lott and Turk Wharton, noting that while Omar is bigger and not quite as explosive, his playing style is disruptive and relentless. With Wharton gone, this was a calculated and necessary acquisition. Norman Lott ranked in the 99th percentile for interior pass rush win rate, which KC viewed as invaluable, especially when pairing him alongside Chris Jones. Though he didn't see massive reps in college, his impact was undeniable in the snaps he did take. The Chiefs are betting on his motor productivity and the coaching of Joe Cullen to elevate him into a force. These types of interior defensive linemen typically don't stay on the board long. KC had a short list of 4 to 5 players they'd grab if still available, and Norman Lott was among the top remaining when it was their turn. Despite concerns about his rotational use at Tennessee, where frequent D-line subs are standard, KC believes he can handle a full workload. Next, cornerback Noah Williams out of California. The Chiefs traded up to get him due to his elite ball skills and instincts, a much-needed asset after losing Algerius Sneed and dealing with injuries in the secondary last season. Williams' football IQ and ability to anticipate plays made him an obvious fit in KC's evolving defensive backfield. And speaking of cornerbacks, today brought even more great news. The Chiefs officially exercised the fifth-year options for Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis, just ahead of the May 1st deadline. A smart, no-brainer move. McDuffie's fifth year will cost just $13.06 million, a bargain considering the top-paid corners in the league are earning more than $30 million annually. Karlaftis' option sits at $15.01 million, also a steal given that premier edge rushers now command $40 million per year. These fully guaranteed deals lock both players in through the 2026 season, keeping the defensive core intact through 2027 offseason. I expect KC to pursue long-term extensions for at least one of these stars before the season kicks off, mirroring last year's extensions of Harrison Butker, Creed Humphrey, and Noah Gray between early August and mid-September. If there's one player KC should absolutely prioritize for a long-term deal, it's Trent McDuffie. Signing him to a second contract would make him the first defensive back drafted by the Chiefs to earn a second deal since Eric Berry, a testament to how exceptional McDuffie is. Bona fide All-Pro and one of the NFL's premier slot defenders, McDuffie has proven he can also excel on the outside. Why KC's draft keeps getting better. Trent McDuffie's value isn't just in his elite talent, it's his versatility. He can line up on the outside and lock down top receivers just as effectively as he dominates in the slot. That adaptability makes him indispensable in a modern defense. Notably, McDuffie shares the same agent, Jimmy Sexton, as Trey Smith, so once hopefully Smith secures a long-term extension before the July 15 deadline, Sexton may pivot directly to negotiating for McDuffie. Both are deserving of significant second contracts. And just to be clear, George Karlaftis is a beast in his own right, but if forced to choose one player to prioritize for a long-term deal, it might lean toward McDuffie simply due to positional scarcity and versatility. That said, locking in both remains firmly on the table, and it would be financially wise to ink a deal with Karlaftis this offseason while he's still on the rise. Karlaftis, after all, logged 83 pressures in 2023 and 76 in 2024, leading all Chiefs defensive ends both seasons by a wide margin. He's also swatted down 15 passes at the line over his 3 years in KC, a nod to his water polo background, and racked up 24.5 regular season sacks, plus 8 more in the postseason, averaging nearly 11 sacks per year. And don't forget, the guy just turned 24. His best football is still ahead. Late-round gems to explosive talent, another defender KC hopes will thrive as Ashton Gillett, an edge rusher out of Louisville. Ryan Nutt raved about his relentless motor, saying Gillett plays 100 miles an hour, showcasing sheer power that can collapse tackles with ease. He combines explosive speed with refined power moves, eerily reminiscent of Karlaftis. Fittingly, the two reportedly trained together during the offseason. On the offensive side, KC added wide receiver Jalen Royals, whose skill set echoes that of Rashee Rice. Royals has strong, aggressive hands and is electric after the catch. Reportedly, 33 of his targets in 2024 came on screens, a smart design considering he logged the fastest 10-yard split of any receiver in the draft class. That burst makes him a dangerous weapon both in the quick game and deeper routes. His route running needs some polish, but so did Rice's. And look how that turned out. Interestingly, Nutt noted that Rashee Rice is still working back from injury, and although he didn't say it outright, a possible suspension looms for Rice. Royals could very well fill that slot-style role in Rice's absence. Hopefully they don't box him into just that position and also test him on the outside, but he clearly offers insurance at a critical spot. Encouragingly, Mahomes says Rice has shown no limitations in their recent training sessions in Texas, and workout footage shows his knee looking strong. The steal in the 7th, perhaps the most intriguing late-round value, was Brashard Smith, a former receiver turned running back from SMU. The Chiefs had a mid-round grade on him, likely late 4th or 5th, but capitalized on a deep RB class and snagged him in the 7th round after trading up. The cost, a 7th rounder, practically nothing for a player they ranked much higher. Initially, KC considered taking a running back in the 5th round, but chose to draft linebacker Jaden Bosa, a player they didn't expect to be available. Smith became the fallback plan in round 7, and a high upside one at that. Smith boasts 4.39 speed, has returned kickoffs, and was even compared to Kadarius Toney in terms of his elusiveness and yards after catch potential. Though he's only played 1 season at running back in college, he grew up playing the position before transitioning to receiver, so it's not unfamiliar territory. He made the switch inspired by Isaiah Pacheco, which Smooth's coaches used as a recruiting pitch, and now he's sharing a backfield with the very player who motivated his transition. The Chiefs plan to use Smith on special teams immediately, but also envision carving out a role for him on offense, depending on how quickly he can absorb the playbook. His dynamic athleticism ensures they'll find a way to get the ball in his hands. The Bosa bonus, as for linebacker Jaden Bosa, he's being heralded as a high IQ, instinctive athlete with flashes of Nick Bolton's physicality, but with enhanced coverage abilities thanks to his history as a safety. Ryan Nutt said their system puts a premium on mental sharpness in linebackers, and Bosa's awareness and positioning stood out. The Chiefs were stunned he was still on the board when they moved to get him. As always, KC's draft strategy combined patience, aggression, and vision. When your roster is strong, you're free to identify hidden gems and pounce when value falls your way. From first-round anchors like Josh Simmons to potential mid and late-round steals like Bosa and Brashard Smith, this draft could prove to be one of Brett Veach's finest. Which pick are you most excited to see suit up this season? And when it comes to long-term contracts, McDuffie or Karlaftis, if you had to choose just one, who would you lock in first? Let me know your thoughts, and until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How's about those Chiefs? Listen up, Chiefs Kingdom. This one ain't for the casuals if you think hoisting back-to-back Lombardus means Kansas City can just coast through draft season. You're not paying attention. Something major just went down beneath the radar. And while the headlines stay polite, what's brewing underneath is the real story. So don't blink. Watch this video in full, not a second skipped, because what you're about to hear might just change how you see this entire offseason. Still riding with the red and gold? Smash that like button, drop a W in the comments if you're all in, or an L if the doubts crept in, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. This dynasty is far from finished. It's just getting dangerous. Now let's get to it. No fluff, no filler, straight facts. See, when you're back-to-back Super Bowl champs, the world expects you to chill, to rest on your laurels. But dynasties don't survive on autopilot. They're fueled by fire. And Brett Veach, the wizard behind the curtain, just orchestrated another draft that has the league quietly nodding in respect. But let's not act like everything's sunshine and streamers. The 2025 NFL draft might look tidy on paper, but when you dig deeper, the cracks start showing. And if you're not watching closely, those cracks turn into craters come December. Now, don't get it twisted. This isn't slander. This is real talk for real fans. Veach is one of the best to ever do it. The man hasn't touched a top 20 pick since taking Mahomes at 10 in 2017, and yet he's managed to reload the arsenal year after year. That's executive mastery. But even the greats can miss a gear. And this class, it left a few blind spots. Let's break it down, what they nailed, what they overlooked, and how those gaps could cost KC another ring. Tight end. A ticking clock. We all love Travis Kelce. First ballot Hall of Famer, future statue at Arrowhead, the soul of this offense. But even Iron Man runs low on fuel. Every snap is one closer to the curtain call. So did KC draft his successor this year? Nope. Sure, Noah Gray emerged last year. Jared Wiley has upside. And undrafted addition Jake Brenningstool is an intriguing project. But let's be honest, Brenningstool isn't Kelce's shadow, not even his silhouette. This offense thrives off the broken play magic Kelce brings, passing on a tight end with real star potential. That's a high-stakes gamble, one that could explode in January. Right tackle, a silent concern. Let's talk trenches, specifically right tackle. Not a sexy topic, but a vital one. Chiefs spent a first-rounder on their future left tackle, brought in Jalen Moore on a 2-year deal, and still have Jawaian Taylor under contract for now, but Taylor's deal is up next March. What if Moore doesn't pan out? What if developmental guy Chuck Godric isn't ready when the live bullets fly? This ain't Madden. You can't just shuffle the line and pray for synergy. This unit needs cohesion. And while right tackle isn't on fire, you can smell the smoke. And where there's smoke, nose tack. Where's the beef? Here's the one that really raised eyebrows, nose tackle. The Chiefs drafted Omar Normlot at 63. And don't get me wrong, the kid's explosive, great burst, elite pass rush upside, but he's a gap penetrator, not a 3-down run anchor. That's like calling a sniper when you needed a tank. Teams in 2025 are going to try and punch KC right in the mouth, test their physicality. Mike Pennell, age 33, is the only true 320-pounder with a real shot to man the middle. Expecting him to carry that load for a full season. That's a big bet on worn tires. Why didn't Veach snag a run-stuffing monster in this draft? That's a risk. And in a loaded AFC, risk like that can break you. Safety depths. Dangerously thin next safety. It's complicated. Last year's pick, Jaden Hicks, solid, athletic, long, could develop into a starter, but this secondary's depth, razor thin. Brian Cook is on the final year of his rookie deal. Mike Edwards is a journeyman. Shamari Connor played more slot corner than true safety. So KC's rolling with Cook, Hicks, and maybe Connor in a natural safety role. That's a house of cards. One injury and the back end collapses. This isn't about September. This is about January. When Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or Joe Burrow is firing downfield every other snap, you need depth. And KC didn't invest there this time. See you next video.